Halo Campaign Evolved has been one of the most debated Halo releases in years. Forerunner structures, elite designs, weapon aesthetics, everyone has an opinion on everything. But while these conversations were happening, something went completely unnoticed, and it might be the most faithful design in the entire game. Nobody's talking about the Pillar of Autumn. To understand why, we need to go back to where Halo started. Before Halo was Halo, it was heavily inspired by Alien. Not just the creatures, but the entire visual design. The Marines were heavily inspired by Colonial Marines from Aliens. Sergeant Johnson himself was based on Sergeant Apone. The Flood's infection forms resemble facehuggers, and the Elites draw heavily from the Alien and Predator designs. But nowhere is that Alien influence more obvious than the Pillar of Autumn, because Bungie wasn't trying to create a futuristic spaceship. They were trying to make it feel as if you were living on it. That's where Cassette Futurism comes in. It's that retro futuristic aesthetic where technology feels like it comes from the 70s and 80s. Analog monitors, physical buttons, practical lighting, huge pieces of machinery, wires, crates, everything looks functional instead of sleek. And that's exactly why the Nostromo from Alien feels so believable. You don't feel like you're just walking through a movie set. You feel like you're walking through someone's workplace. People ate there, people slept there, people worked there, things broke there, and the original Pillar of Autumn captured that same feeling. The Autumn didn't look futuristic in the way most science fiction does. It looked used. The corridors were cramped, the equipment was bulky, the computers looked like something you'd actually operate. And even the doors, crates, and machinery felt like they had a purpose. And we actually have confirmation from the original developers on how deliberate this was. During an original Bungie developer reaction to a Campaign Evolved speedrun, art director Paul Russell pointed out the level and said almost everything you're looking at was inspired by Mr. Cobb, including the crates. That's referring to Ron Cobb, the legendary production designer behind Alien. So when you're looking at the doors, the crates, the machinery, and the industrial interiors of the Pillar of Autumn, you're looking at Alien's DNA. And that's why the aesthetic feels so cohesive. It wasn't just an art style, it was the foundation of the world. And this is why the Campaign Evolved version caught my attention, because it doesn't just make the Autumn look newer, it makes it feel like the same ship. The monitors, the industrial machinery, the lighting, everything carries that same retro futuristic military aesthetic. It feels like a military vessel that has been operating for years, as if people actually lived on it. And that's what's incredibly important, because the temptation with the remake is to make everything cleaner, sharper, more futuristic, more impressive. But that would have completely missed the point. Halo wasn't supposed to look like Star Trek. It was supposed to look like Alien. Now, you could argue that this isn't even intentional. The Pillar of Autumn is an old military ship, so of course it's going to look industrial. Maybe the design is simply a product of its age, and honestly that's fine, because whether every single detail was intentional or not, the result works. It captures something modern Halo can sometimes lose, the feeling that the universe existed before you arrived, that people actually lived inside these ships, that every machine has a purpose, and that the future isn't necessarily clean and beautiful. Sometimes it's dirty, loud, industrial, and alive. That's why I think the Pillar of Autumn might secretly be one of Campaign Evolved's biggest upgrades, not because it reinvented the ship, but because it understood why the original was so iconic in the first place. Everyone's talking about the new elites, the new weapons, and the new environments. Meanwhile, the most faithful part of Halo's remake might be the ship that started it all. I just want to give a huge prop to whoever worked on this. I heard Campaign Evolved was heavily outsourced, so whoever was tasked with designing the ship, you understood the assignment, and big applause to you. And if you love Halo for the little details as much as I do, subscribe and join the Madama Empire.